Oh, dude.
Doubled up. Mine's a nice one too.
I think we got two nice ones here now.
Oh, dude.
What is going on, guys? Today we are back with another video. We are out here, we are doing some ice fishing. We are gonna hopefully pound a whole bunch of basin crappies today. And it is cold out, it's very cold. We got myself, we got Cody behind the camera right now, and the hope is to find a whole bunch of these fish, sit in the shack and catch a whole bunch of them. We're gonna talk all about basically how we find these basin crappies, what kind of stuff we're looking for, how we're catching them, and how you can kind of dissect a big area like we have right behind me here, find that sweet spot, and then camp down on them in the shack today. So if you guys aren't already, please subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot, and hopefully this channel helps you guys out a lot. So stay tuned, we're hopefully gonna whack a whole bunch of fish, keep a few for dinner, and have a whole bunch of hook sets today. So the first thing to do when you roll up onto a basin like this is we're fishing a spot that looks like this right here. And what you want to do is anytime you're fishing a basin bite, a lot of times we're looking for some of the deeper water in an area. So a lot of like 8 feet around us, and then we have a 20-25 foot isolated hole right here. And it's a pretty large area, so we're gonna drill it out and try to drill a ton of holes throughout this whole area. And obviously we want to be seeing fish, but we want to find an area that has, like, you know, fish in consecutive holes, right? Because a lot of times that tells us, you know, that's where that mother load of fish is kind of using that area the most. And we'll kind of run through the holes several times and kind of see if those fish are moving around or what's going on. But we're both going to get on the auger here in a second and start punching a ton of holes and hopefully find some crappies. All right, well, we have found some fish. In the last few holes, Cody's kind of drug the shack and four-wheeler over here. The last few holes we've checked have had some fish, and quite a few of them. We're in about 20 feet. Depths we drilled in have ranged anywhere from about 15 to 22 feet, and we're sitting in about 20 feet right here. And we got a stack of fish down there, and they're looking like probably crappies and maybe some gills in the mix as well. But you know, this is kind of what you do. This is the same process you do every time you come out and fish a basin, is you drill a ton of holes, kind of go through them all very fast with the flasher, try to find that area where most of them are holding, and then you know, kind of either set the shack up or start working through that area. But it's cold. We're gonna set the shack up, and we'll see you guys inside. We're gonna be fishing one of my favorite new baits, which I've been running a whole bunch. This is the Acme Tungsten Castmaster in the smallest size, and this is like a pretty cool kind of pink purplish color, just a cool looking color. They make these things in a ton of different colors and sizes as well, but tungsten's great because it falls very fast for catching these fish, and spoons are great because we are not even going to tip this with bait. We're just going to rip it around kind of aggressively, hammer it in place when those fish come up, and hopefully smash a bunch of these crappies. But that's kind of the setup there. Piscifun ICX5 for the reel on there, and some 3-pound test, good to go.
Like on the outsides of this hole.
Hooked up, fish on. Right away too.
Nice crappie.
Nice crop dog there on the spoon. There we go. We're huddled up inside the shack today, as it is a chilly one outside. But little Cody's got one coming too. Doubled up.
Daily doubles. Daily doubles.
Crappie? Little crappie.
We won't even show this one.
But when you are fishing kind of a stationary spot like this, expect to go through periods of slow fishing when these fish are kind of set up over basin like this. One thing you see a lot is, you know, they'll run around in that tall stack. So you might go, you know, 10-15 minutes without marking a fish, then all of a sudden you'll just have a whole bunch of them under you.
That one just shot up so hard.
Oh, here it comes. Game over. Hooked up, fish on. It's just like constant hook sets in here right now. That is what I'm talking about. One after another. And whenever you're working a bait, whether it's just a jig or a spoon like this without bait, what's really important is to keep it moving a lot more than you would if you were fishing just like a jig and a waxy, right? Or a jig with and a crappie minnow or something like that, because you have to impart all the action on that bait to get those fish to bite. So one thing I always say is jig through the hook set. What I mean by that is, a lot of guys when they're fishing basin crappies or bluegills or anything in general, they'll kind of get that fish interested by jigging, and then they just like stop and wait for a bite. Well, when you keep that bait pounding, a little pull away, keep it moving, a lot of times it's they're gonna have a much higher likelihood of getting that thing and wanting to bite it.
Nice fish.
Another real nice fish there. But if you're just jigging and that fish comes up and meets you and you stall that thing out, all of a sudden all the attracting quality of that bait is taken away. So jig through the hook set, and a lot of times what you can do is, let's say you're doing real big aggressive jig strokes as you're trying to get these fish to come in. This bait is choked so deep, it is just unbelievable how they've been eating this spoon. But as you're doing kind of a lot of those bigger, more aggressive movements, trying to get those fish to come in, right when they come up and meet you, you might just slow down to just kind of barely rocking that tip right there. And that's been kind of the deal. And as you can see, it's working, and we're catching fish one after another right now. That looks like a nice one, huh?
Yeah. Daily double.
Oh, look at this.
Touch tips.
We have the same fish. Oh, I got a nice crop dog here.
I think I got a nice one too. Oh, nice bluegill.
Nice gill. Mixed bag out here over Basin.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of different species get over these basins, whether it's walleyes, crappies, muskies, northerns.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Anywhere there's this much life around. This one just absolutely choked this spoon. It'll be a good one to keep, but there we go. Just deep throated that thing. That's what I'm talking about. We'll throw them in the bucket. It'll be a good keeper. We are going to keep a few fish today. And that 10, 10 and a half, 11 inch crappie size is a good size to keep.
We are on them.
We are on the fish. When they come in,
Bluegill.
they are hot and aggressive. There is a little bit of sorting to be done between big fish, little fish, bluegills, and crappies, but we are definitely on the right area. And we'll kind of talk all about basically how you can come out here and set up on the right area.
Straight
on these kind of like high efficiency spots like this. Another nice crappie here. Another nice crappie. Not a real big one. He's got me tangled in my cord, but man, they are just pounding this tungsten Castmaster when they are biting it. There we go. He's probably at the smaller size I'd keep, but he'll be an alright one. I always hate to sort too much because it seems like you end up just taking all the big fish when you do a lot of sorting, but plenty of them down there, as you can see. And what we're seeing is we might fish for a little while. There might not be any fish down there, and then you might have a bunch of marks on the graph, but they might be smaller, like bluegill sized fish.
9.5.
Yeah. And then it's like all of a sudden the crappies and stuff like that will start moving in. And you'll get a lot of these nicer fish just kind of like boom, boom, boom. Oh, look at that.
Just another one.
Another fish. Oh my gosh, dude. I was looking at you, and all of a sudden I just felt my rod tip load up.
Another nice one.
Man, are we on some fish.
Daily doubles, every drop.
Yeah, and these fish are just eating this thing so amazingly well, it's insane. It really is pretty impressive. There we go, another nice crappie right there. On that little spoon. And this is the smallest tungsten Castmaster they make. It's the smaller size overall. And but it fishes a lot heavier. You know, the problem with Castmasters, they've been catching fish forever for us. Already figured out how to go down there. Castmasters have been catching fish forever for us. But the problem with the really small size for crappies, especially when you're fishing in deeper water, it's just hard to feel what you're doing. It's also just a very slow process to get down to the fish. So not only can we just rifle the spoon down and we're just right back on fish right away, but it also fishes really heavy. So you're keeping a tight line the whole time, and it's much easier to detect bites when you have a very tight line.
Got him that time. That fish was moving so fast.
Some of the fish are literally coming in so fast they're like missing the bait on the way up.
Just absolutely choked again.
Yeah. I've got kind of a purple one on. Need up players?
Yeah.
I've got kind of a purple one on, and Cody's fishing kind of like a silver black back looking one. Oh, I missed that one.
Kind of looks like one of those fathead minnows.
Yeah, it does kind of look very minnow-esque colored.
Oh, dude.
Doubled up. Mine's
Daily
a nice
doubles.
one too.
I think we got two nice ones here, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Look at that one.
Dude, those are both nice fish. A lot of times when you're fishing these basin holes, like, you'll notice size class kind of runs together for the most part.
Yeah, you might catch a whole bunch of 9 inchers and then a bunch of small bluegills, and then all of a sudden double up on nice crappies like this. That is what I'm talking about right there.
Beautiful crappies.
Smoked that Castmaster. Doubled up. So kind of the difference between fishing a spoon and fishing a tungsten jig is a lot of times I'll get this bait kind of 5-6 feet above the fish, and I'll do some of these bigger pumps like this. And this is a huge attracting quality. These fish see this thing, and a spoon's always darting and diving, and these Castmasters have a ton of flash and roll when you pop them like that. Now when I get down closer to the fish, a lot of times I'll kind of slow it down and go to just a little bit more of this hammer right here. And that's a lot of times when you get bit, is when you kind of do that flashing and rolling up high, slow it down and kind of pound it in place. There's a nice bluegill right there showcasing exactly that.
All right, guys, well, that is gonna do it for today's video. Absolute whack fest in the shack.
Sure.
Was it a good time?
It was a great time as always. So
yeah, caught a ton of fish. Super aggressive on the screen. Hopefully you guys learned something on this video as far as picking apart these basins. And if you want to pick up any of the stuff I use in this video, I'll go ahead and link it down below like I always do. But we're gonna be done filming for now. We might bomb around and try some new spots because the day, it's only like noon right now. We still got plenty of time to fish, so why not, right? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Any last words?
as always, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the button. And
yeah,
I just messed it up like Shelby always does.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. If you're not yet, please subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you next time. That wasn't that hard, was it?
No.